Hi everybody, my name is David Burkhart and I'm with the Dynamo Sword channel on YouTube, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new United Cutlery Honshu Broadsword. Now this is the first functional European style sword in the Honshu lineup, and it was offered to me as a product test by United Cutlery through Paul Southern, who is the administrator and owner of SwordBuyersGuide.com and the Sword Buyers Guide Forum, which I'm a member of. Just wanted to give a quick thank you to both of them for giving me the chance to review and test this sword. And then I'm going to give you a quick overview of the sword, and then we'll move on to unboxing. Alright, so this sword is considered a modern or tactical take on the traditional European bastard sword of the Middle Ages. It retails between $200 and $346. Now this specific sword was sent to me through the vendor Bud K, and their retail price for it is $199.99. So anyway, this is just a little quick introduction. Next we're going to go to unboxing. We're going to do a full review with statistics as well as some cutting tests, some deconstruction to see how the sword looks under the grip and how the construction fit goes, and then we're going to have some conclusions. Alright, so stay tuned for the unboxing and we'll see you in a little bit. Hi everyone, welcome back to the unboxing segment. So, just wanted to show how the sword looked as it came out of the box and was shipped to me. I've already taken out the outer shipping box and the packing paper and those things just so they were out of the way and less mess. So this is the main product box. Pick it up real quick and show you. You can see in pretty good shape. A couple little dings on it, but nothing that I think will hurt the sword. Honshu on the box, as well as this Templar style cross. And alright, so let's get this box open and see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, in pretty good shape. Came in little styrofoam holders, and yeah, so plastic bag. Looks like it came with a few little additional items. So we have a United Cutlery catalog, little mini catalog. Has a few of their other products in it. For example, the Honshu Katana, and then a certificate which kind of goes over care and storage, blade maintenance, things like that. So pretty common. Alright, so here's the sword. So let's take it out of the bag and have a look at it. Alright, so see it in the scabbard. The wood scabbard, matte finish to it. Feels pretty good. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of rattle, seems to hold it pretty well. Alright, and then at the bottom of the bag we have the frog it came with, so this just slides on here like so. Put it on your belt, hang it from your side. Alright, so it does have a shape. From the look of it, the shape is cast metal, so maybe a zinc alloy. Doesn't look steel. And alright, the blade looks about 33-34 inches. Does have a ricasso, similar to the older Hanwei Cat Siberia line. Little acid etching on it. Says Honshu with the cross similar to the box. On the back it says 1060 high carbon, and then a little serial number. So yeah, seems pretty decent, nice and tight, well put together. Balance, I want to say about 3 inches. So alright, but yeah, came shipped really well. No damage to it, in really good shape. So, alright. So I think we've had enough of the unboxing. So next we'll move on to statistics and get on with the review. Alright, see you soon. Alright everyone, welcome back. And so right now we're going to do the look at the statistics of the sword, as well as give an overview of each of the parts. So let's get started and we'll look at the overall length. So the overall length of the blade from pommel to tip is 43 3/4 inches long. The weight, I weighed in at 3 pounds 3 ounces. Point of balance, right at 3 inches, so pretty low on the blade. Center of percussion is right at 20 inches from the base of the blade. And yeah, not too bad. So, you know, pretty standard. 3 pounds isn't too heavy. Point of balance is low, so it gives it a nice feel in hand, one or two-handed. So yeah, not too bad for a bastard type sword. Alright, on to the blade. So the blade is 33 3/4 inches long. It is sharp, and it does have a fuller going about halfway down the blade on each side. The base width is 2 inches, and then profile taper goes down to about 1.5 inches to where the tip goes acute. It does have a diamond cross section, and as far as taper, there is not a lot of distal taper to this blade, just some slight. Not too thick, but not a lot of taper, pretty common with swords in the sub 300 range. So yeah, not a too bad of a blade. Now the blade is, if you wanted to give it a typology, even though it is ahistorical, you could say it fits between a type 12 or a type 16 in the oakshot typology. It does have the inclusion of the ricasso, which is about 1 inch long. So, you know, similar to, say, a basket hilt blade as far as kind of profile and look to it. I'd say it looks more like a basket hilt type blade than more of a middle-aged type sword. Down to the guard. So the guard from quillion to quillion is 8.5 inches long. The width of the face of the quillions is about 1/4 inch, and then the inside is about 3/4 inches. The tang slot is pretty tight to the ricasso, which is pretty easy on these blades with the short ricasso because it's square and easy to line up. I do see some glue in there, so there is some slight glue to, I guess, keep it together. But yeah, nice overall guard. It has a satin finish. The promo said that it was made of stainless steel, which, you know, I would agree to. It is some kind of steel. I did put a magnet to it, and the magnet stuck. So yeah, so not too bad. As far as typology goes on this, I would say it's similar to a Style 2 in design. Again, it is a little fat, more, like I said, modern fantasy style. But yeah, so it is your kind of standard crucifix style hilt. But yeah, not too bad. So, onto the handle. So the handle's total length is 6 inches. At the base circumference is about 3 3/4 inches, and that tapers down to about 3.5 inches at the pommel. As I mentioned before, it is made of thermoplastic rubber, which has a decent feel to it. Doesn't feel like it would slip out of your hand. The kind of design, the cutouts feel moderately comfortable. It does have this a little ring here, which I guess is supposed to simulate a riser. That is the fattest point on it. That's where it gets at 4 3/4. It tapers pretty quick down to 4 inches, so it is a little more comfortable. I have a medium-sized hand, so I prefer a more thinner circumference handle, but someone with a larger hand probably wouldn't mind that. The design of it is, as I mentioned, very similar to a pistol grip or a gun stock. As you can see, it kind of has the diamond, and then, as I said, just some grips. It is riveted with hex nuts to the tang, so I'm assuming there is a full tang to this. I know a lot of people were wondering if there was. They have to have it riveted to something, unless they're just there for aesthetics. Alright, moving on to the pommel. So the pommel is about 3.5 inches long from the top to bottom. It is about 3.5 inches wide, as I mentioned, so it does give you that extra amount of grip. So if you wanted to grip the pommel, and you'd have about 9 inches, so adds a little to it, so a little extra hand makes it more two-handed. As far as typology goes, if I was going to classify the pommel, I would say that it is closer to a T5. It does have a kind of a, like I said, more fantasy style to it, so gives it that modern tactical look, I guess, more than something historical. It is fitted with a hex nut to compress it to the rest of the hilt. So similar to the Hanwei Tinker line, it does have that compression hex nut. Alright, so overall, not too bad of a sword. I would say that, you know, it fits its role as a fantasy or tactical type sword, something you would see in a movie such as let's say like a, you know, post-apocalyptic type movie or something like that, or modern, you know, vampire hunter type sword. So yeah, it fits the bill for that if that's what you're into. As far as just its temper, it is 1060 high carbon steel. I'll do a quick flex test just to kind of show that. So we'll flex it down, and then on the other side. So yeah, stay true, not too bad. So yeah, seems to have a pretty decent temper. One main concern with a lot of these more budget swords is that the tang isn't properly tempered. Most of the time when you do a flex test like that, if the tang hasn't had a decent temper, or the shoulders, when you do those flex tests, it will kind of bend to the right slightly. But not so on this one. Seems pretty good, decent temper. I'll give a quick look at the scabbard. So the scabbard, as I mentioned before, is wood core. It is painted with a matte finish. Seems to hold up pretty good. Holds the blade pretty tight, as you saw earlier. They did glue on this plastic throat with this little felt liner. I did do a magnet test on this, so yeah, this is a cast alloy. It is not steel. Just glued on. Not too bad. Seems tight. Not going to fall off. And so yeah, pretty decent. The frog, as I showed earlier, not too bad. It, you know, just slide it on and put it on your belt, and yeah, it'll hold the blade. Kind of holds it a little different. I've noticed that if I take the blade and I have it all the way up, kind of like it's advertised, it does sit kind of awkwardly. So I noticed if you slide it down about halfway, where most, you know, suspension systems hold, it does seem to sit a little better. Don't know if it would stay that way, but yeah, it seems to hold it a little better. Like I said, the scabbard fit is really tight. Doesn't want to fall out or lose. Not a lot of rattle to it, if any. So
Seems a pretty well fitted scabbard for the price point. I really like this scabbard.
It was a real bonus to see that, especially at the price point. So alright, so overall the sword looks in pretty good shape. It came to me in good shape, nice and tight. Blade seems well tempered, so we'll move on to cut testing and see how it holds up. Alright, we'll see you soon.
Alright everybody, we're back after cut testing, and I must say it actually did really well. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this sword. Of course, not too many heavy targets, but as far as the water bottles, it cut through those very cleanly. Same with the paper rolls, and then it did take those helmet strikes and no damage. So I'll show you the blade real quick. So as you can see, I've already deconstructed it as I mentioned I would. So it was actually quite easy to take apart. But I will show you what was done from the helmet. As you can see, just some scuffs and scrapes. No edge rolling, no nicks. Flip it over to this side, and this side's actually a lot cleaner. So yeah, pretty good. It held up to the targets, and very impressed. So as part of the deconstruction section, let's take a look at the tang. So as you can see, it has a nice full tang, about a 1/4 inch thick. The threaded portion is nicely blended and welded, so that's a really bonus for the price point. The only minor defect I could see is that there is a slight curve to the tang here. Now I'm pretty sure that wasn't done when I was doing the cut testing, so I'm thinking that this is a manufacturer defect and a very slight one. Not uncommon to see tangs that are a little ugly, but you can't notice it when it's in the hilt, so I'm not going to have any concerns about it. Now let's next go up to the guard. So here's the guard disassembled. So you see the tang slot there, nice and clean. It also has this nice recessed portion for the grip to go in. So pretty nice. Yeah, a little heavy, but yeah, not a bad guard at all. There was, as I mentioned, some glue in there, but it was just some hot glue. It came out really easy, and I don't think it really did anything to benefit or anything. So, all right, onto the grip. So, thermoplastic rubber, solid piece. I said it is rubbery, soft, pliable, but very tough. You know, all right, so that is just the sword apart. Next, I'll do a quick little reassembly of it, and then we'll go into final thoughts. All right, see you soon.
Hi everyone, so we're back after the reassembly. As you saw, went together really well. No complaints from me. It was nice and smooth, easy. Anybody could do it as long as they have the tools. Again, that nut is a 10 millimeter and the hex nut is a 5/32. So if you have those tools, you'll be able to take it apart or reassemble it, customize it, whatever you'd like to do. Now, on to the final thoughts. Would I recommend this sword? Yes, I believe I would. For the price point at $200, it is a well-made sword. If you're into the tactical, modern fantasy design that it has, I think it's right up your alley. I think you will be impressed with its construction, its durability, and its function. Some highlights of it, again, 1060 high carbon steel for the blade. Seems well forged, nice full tang on it. The threaded portion had a nice weld to it and grinded even with the tang. That is a big bonus for the price point. Guard and pommel in decent shape. Nice castings. Highlight. Definitely my highlight is this scabbard. Scabbard holds it really well. Has a nice matte finish to it. And yeah, absolutely. Scabbard is definitely a highlight, even compared to other swords in the price range. Most of them are, even if they're wood core, are loose, not really well fitted. Some of them are kind of a one-of-a-mill, one-size-fits-all scabbards, similar to the windlass hard leather, which can, sometimes they're good, most of the time they're not. So, at least as far as my model goes, the scabbard was a really well fit. All right, so the handle. Again, if you're into that style of handle, absolutely. It is functional and durable. I wouldn't have any complaints using it. I don't think anybody else would either. Like I said, it is a modern or fantasy style sword, tactical sword. So if you're more into the historical style, it might not be for you. But I think even a historical collector such as myself can definitely appreciate the sword for its build and quality. So alright, so I hope you enjoyed the review and the testing. Just another thank you to United Cutlery and Paul Sutherland for offering me this sword to do a review and test on. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments below on what you'd like to see me do next, and I'll see what I can do. Definitely would love to review some more swords, review some of my own on video, as well as do some more cutting. So alright, so I'll send it off here. You guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.